Welcome everybody to this week's episode of In the Library of Graphic Literature with your host, Wallace Ryan.
Yay! Thank you! Yay!
And I'm Luna, the announcer face person thing.
Yay! Yes. So it's we actually got some new stuff this week for a change. So shall we start?
Another addition to Donald's Duck.
Donald's Happiest Adventures. Now this is a it's done by these is one of these ones that's done by the a European artist, and they have great. I love these Disney ones. The European Disney stuff has an energy and all that sometimes can be lacking in, not some, but some stories here and there from the North American comics, right? Although there are some great duck comics. But these I always liked. These big albums they've been doing lately, especially this guy. What's his name now? Trondheim. Louis Trondheim. He did a version of this, and he basically made believe that it was like a lost comic that he had found and was republishing when they were just drawing it and making it look old, right? But a great comic. I love Disney stuff, right? It's
So when did it come out?
this one came out recently, I do believe. Let me double check because I had this on. I think I had it on back, or did I? Let's see. First printing January 2023. Okay, yeah. So it's but I think it was delayed a bit, or it took a bit for me to get it in.
Is this your favorite one of all the Disney series?
It's one of them, yes. It's right up there with the Don Rosa and Carl Barks libraries. So yeah, it is. Right? Even more so than the Disney Masters, which there are a lot of books, because these are Disney Masters. Sometimes you can have good ones or bad ones. These are always really good, right?
Does the series for this have the same artists throughout the books?
Trondheim has been on them. The first two, I think. I have to look it up, but they look more or less like that, and even like cool graphics like that on the back. I'll show the people that like great art, just great art. Wonderful.
Next up, we have Superman, the Golden Age. Omnibus Volume 7, so this means you have 6 more?
Yeah. Yes. And we were talking about this before, and it's funny because because there's also a Batman omnibus. I won't say anything about that. But yeah, a friend of mine, John Fahey, asked me the other day. I was talking to him and his son Robert, and they asked me, "Are you a Batman or a Superman?" And
Spider-Man.
okay. I ended up saying I was a Batman, and his son laughed like he'd won a bet or something like that. But
Which era Batman?
basically like the 70s Batman, because it started to get gritty again, because he'd gone a bit downhill, during the 50s and that. Now this is 50s, well this is late 50s Batman, I guess. Superman, this one here, this is, 49 and into the 50s, okay. And, some of the artists in this, I like some, I don't, I like the good old-fashioned 40s and 50s comics. This has Wayne Boring, who's kind of boring, but Kurt Swan, he was one of my favorite artists growing up, and he did a great Superman. But this was early in his career. But there's some great, just to show people what the. At first, when I was younger, I stayed away from Golden Age comics because I didn't, I thought the artwork sometimes was crude or whatever. But as I got older, I started to enjoy them. Even stuff like seeing things in there that relate to society and people's attitudes towards, say, women or whatever that you see in comics from way back then. And it's just like, this is what people actually thought.
Bit
right?
raunchy.
Oh yeah, and sometimes a bit racist here and there or whatever. As a matter of fact, even flicking through here, I don't see many people of color. It all seems to be white people, right? But anyway, this is the 50s. Oh yeah. And Superman was starting to get almost to be a bit of a joke, really, right? But it was But I like it. There was this one guy, Wayne Boring, and he used to do Batman with his huge barrel chest. He looked like he was from the Andes or something, right? But yeah, there it is. Look.
Does this one have the introduction of Supergirl, or was that before this one?
I can't remember if that. I'm not sure if I'm up to that yet. But no, I do have a separate Supergirl omnibus where it does have.
She's on the front, though, isn't it?
No, I think that's Lois Lane. In one of these imaginary stories where she becomes a superpowered person, right? But it's pretty close. You're getting pretty close to Supergirl territory because she did come out within a couple of years, and I do. Yes, I do have a Supergirl. The Silver Age Omnibus.
Oh, is that Harley Quinn? Who?
No, that's Batwoman.
Batwoman.
Batwoman actually does go back, even though people think that, they just created Batwoman recently. Look, there's up there. You see, there's a Batwoman omnibus. Now she's a character that hasn't been used in a long time, and they just, for some reason, I guess, decided, well, let's resurrect Kathy Kane. It's a character with it has a name and all that, but I mean, they changed everything about her because obviously back then she's in love with Batman and that type of thing. So, and now a lot of these. Oh, here's a picture of me and Stan Sakai, used as a bookmark. So,
want to show the people?
Oh yes, let's show the people. Oh, you can hold on to the picture of me and Stan. Now, there was a bit of controversy about this book too, actually. Okay, I'll let that one slide.
Landed on the chair, by the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was safe. What's up there? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Batman Golden Age omnibuses up there, right? And this came out. This is a Silver Age omnibus, Volume 1 of the Silver Age. But there's a volume of comics between that book and this book, and so people are saying you better put out the last Golden Age Batman before you continue on with this, right? Now some of this was this was obviously Silver Age, and there was one artist in particular, Dick Sprang, who I kind of liked in a cheesy sort of way. He did, as a matter of fact, where is it? Oh, to me, of all the...
Don't cause an avalanche.
Oh, yeah. That one did. This is why this car, for instance, I look at as a real Dick Sprang Batmobile, because
it's cute.
I remember this being in his comics when I was a kid, and these would have been the slightly older Batman. It was starting to get a little bit campy at this time. Oh, thank you. I mean, the art is serviceable. The stories are nothing great, but I mean, let's have a look at the art anyway. But I do like Dick Sprang just for the pure camp value of it. But then
What do you mean by campy?
it can be kind of like the '60s TV show was sort of like a campy version, a kitsch, a cutified version of Batman, right?
Parody?
Not quite parody, but getting close to parody, right? But it was, and as a kid, I didn't like it either because I was thinking, they're making fun of Batman. Now I do like that series now as an adult because it's kind of neat to see. It's a satire, and I just didn't get it as a kid, right?
Robin's so annoying in that.
Oh God, right? And he actually, I always found him annoying. I can remember as a kid we had it was a huge debate at the time because they were having, and this was unusual, a crossover between the Green Hornet and the Batman TV show. So Batman was going to fight Green Hornet. And there were arguments in the classroom. I'm sure there were fist fights all across North America amongst the kids. Batman will beat. Well, everyone was saying, Batman will beat Green Hornet hands down. But when it came to Green Hornet, his sidekick was Kato, who was in fact actually in real life Bruce Lee. So no one could accept Robin beating Bruce Lee, and they ended up it's like they came to a draw. None of them won. So they because both of them were more or less being put out by the same person, production company. But it was kind of a cool little crossover, right? But now this, like I say, this is just slightly before my time, and these would have been like the reprints in the back of comics when I was a kid. And when I looked at them as a kid, because especially in the '70s, when the '70s came around, I really didn't want to be seeing any of this artwork, because I was used to the realistic art style by then. And this,
Did they have color in it when you were a kid?
oh yeah, all color. The only time there was ever black and, well, I mean, there were black and white independent comics, and the only other time was during the wartime. But I mean, they wouldn't import American comics into Canada during the wartime, so there was a lot of homemade comics made. Well, I mean, it was publishing houses, but they were all Canadian comics. But if you wanted American comics like Batman and Superman, all you had to do was go to a military base. Unfortunately, we have one downtown here. We have one actually out in Argentia. So for Golden Age comics, Newfoundland is actually one of the few places in Canada where you can find, and I've found them even when I had my store years ago. I've had people come in with Golden Age comics, and you're talking comics from the 40s and all that, which were even back in the 90s were hard to come across, right?
What's your favorite Golden Age comic? Let us know in the comments.
Yes. My favorite Golden Age comic, it would have to be either the Sandman, the old-fashioned Sandman, and it was kind of a good comic, actually. The old-fashioned Sandman, All-Star Comics, which was like the Justice League at the time, Justice Society, and oh god, there was one more.
Spider-Man.
No. I kind of liked Wonder Woman. It had a really weird style too, but so I kind of liked Wonder Woman.
I think Spider-Man was more Silver Age, was it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, really. But Wonder Woman's, I don't know
I don't know any Golden Age.
Yeah, there's not a lot that really pops out to me. I hate to say it, even though outside of Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman, it's just like wasn't. I mean, there were a lot of comics coming out then. I'm hoping that they put out a lot more volumes too of other comics, because DC actually had a lot of other comics. Sea Devils, the Suicide Squad. Actually, they did put out a Suicide Squad one. What am I saying? But there were other ones, the Secret Six. There were all these series that were short series, but they were bloody good. I was going to close off actually with two quick books.
And here we have.
And this is something about.
I don't know what that is.
This is Neat Stuff Volume 1.
Definitely has Ren and Stimpy vibe to it.
It's very unique. I picked these. This is part of my ongoing series. What am I reading these days? And this is one thing I'm rereading. Or maybe that's it. What am I rereading these days? Because I'm going through my library and just picking out stuff to reread. And this is one of the things. The comics, they're just out of control. They're some of the funniest comics I have ever read, and still to this day, right? Peter Bagge, I think, is a comedic genius. And this series, this Neat Stuff, it also had a couple of different things. It had, besides the Bradleys, which is a major thing, and I love that. What's that? And I love his style of artwork. When I first came across Peter Bagge, I wasn't, I don't know what jazz hands. Yeah, well, actually, this is kind of a jazz hands kind of thing, right? Jazz hands. There's definitely jazz hands vibes here.
Not really.
But he'd done stuff like what's the name? The name of the.
That's what it looks like she's doing.
Studs Kirby. This is Studs Kirby. Oh yeah, Junior. There's a bunch of different ones, different sort of strips, but the main one, what is it? Girly Girl. There's ones about different characters, stuff like that. Studs Kirby is actually pretty good. Studs Kirby gets drunk by himself. I think he's a talk show. He calls into talk shows, and I mean, they're all half nuts, right?
What other work does the artist do?
Well, this he did so many of the, I can't remember how many issues, but there's another volume of this. So he did this, and out of all the ones, the Bradleys became very popular. So when he stopped this one, he started with this comic, which was called Hate, and it was basically just the Bradleys all the time, and Buddy Bradley and his friend. This is his friend Leonard from. There's a band called Leonard and the Love Gods, and it's once again it too, and it's funny. At first, I really didn't like the style, but the more and more I read it, I felt so much in love with it that I got used to the style, and I figured, you know, if you love the writing, you gotta love the drawing. And the drawing itself, the more and more I read it, the more I fell in love with it. And it's the type of thing no one else could draw it like that. He did a couple of stories for Marvel, believe it or not. And he did one called the Megalomaniacal Spider-Man. And it's Spider-Man, and he's basically become rich as Peter Parker, and he has J. Jonah Jameson working with him, and he's always giving J. Jonah Jameson crappy assignments and treating him like crap and all that. And it's one of the most vicious Spider-Man stories, and one of the sickest Spider-Man stories ever. But any of his stuff, including this Hate, and this was a 3-book set too. Love this. But anyway, very, very, very funny. Not for the faint of heart, because of course there's swearing, there's ravenous sex in it, so vulgar, but very, very funny. So if you like sex and drugs and rock and roll, this is the book, right? And a good laugh. You'll get it all here. That being said, I guess that's about it for this week.
That's all, folks.
Of course, listen to me and Dennis's podcast, Thursday Comics, Dennis Osborne, and I have a Patreon account under Alphabet Comics. If you want to support me, you can support me there.
So do I.
And what's yours? The name of yours? Shall we give it on the air, or shall we?
It'll be down in the.
It'll be down below. Okay.
It's irrelevant.
Anyway, thanks for having us over again, and keep on reading them comics. So what do you think? Shall we head on out?
Hasta la vista.
Okay. Bye.